Good morning. Today we're doing lesson 5.6b. We're not only plotting points and drawing a line, but we are actually going to find the equation of the line in a little bit. So our first one is a review, making a scatter plot for the first step, drawing a line of best fit for the second step, and then the third step is approximating or getting close to the value of y when x is 3. So let's start by plotting our points. Remember, here's our x-axis, here's our y-axis. So here's our first point. If you want to list it as x comma y, you can, but you don't need to. So that first point is -3 to the left, and +1, which is up 1. If you want to label the other numbers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the negatives as well, that might be helpful. And then our second point here, x is -2, so 1, 2. And y is -1, down 1, there's that point. Then -1, 0, again, if you want to write it as a point, you can. -1 to the left, and then 0 we didn't go up or down. If this helps as well, write some arrows there. Then 0, -2, so not left and right, just down 2. Then 1, -4, so 1 to the right and down 4. And then last, 2 to the right, 2 and -5. So that was step 1. Now we need to draw a line of best fit. We did this by circling our points and then drawing a line straight through some points above and some points below the line. It might go through a couple, and that's okay. So we did that, step 2. Then last, what is the value of y when x is 3? So we're going to look at our x-axis at 3 right here. We're going to follow it to our line. We're going to follow it down because our line is down here. When you hit the line, we got to go over to the y-axis. This is -6, so I'm between -5 and -6. So y would be maybe -5.8. We're really close to -6. Maybe you said it is -6. That's fine. Maybe you said only -5.5. That's okay too, as long as your graph matches your answer. So that's what we worked on the first day. Now what we are going to do is write some equations of those lines. So in order to write an equation, I know this looks like a lot, we're going to take this form, our point-slope form, and we're going to convert it to slope-intercept form, or y equals mx plus b, because we know how to use or look at that equation. So in order to use this first equation, we need to find m, and we need a point and a slope. So we're going to start by finding our slope. So it says pick 2 good points on the line. In order to find our slope, for example, if this is your line, you need to count your slope, rise over run. So we need to pick 2 points that are on the line. It would help if you labeled them x, y. So for example, this one might be 2, 3. Then after that, simply find the slope. Ooh, that's a circle. There we go. Find the slope. And like I said, we can either count rise over run, just counting up and down and left to right, or we can use our point slope form that we have as well. Either one will get you the same answer. So then once we have a point and a slope, we can use point-slope form. So write an equation in point-slope form and then convert it to slope-intercept form, which is what I talked about already, starting with this form and getting to our final answer in the form y equals mx plus b. So first, this is a graph or scatter plot where there were a bunch of points here. And you know what? I said, I don't want to distract you or confuse you with those points, so we are just going to look at the line for right now. So label the points. This is x, this is y. So this point right here would be 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, and up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's that point. The second point is 6 to the right, and we're down 1 or negative 1. So we labeled our points. Now I need to find the slope. I'm going to just count rise over run. Now you can count up from here and then left, or down from here and then right. I'm going to go down first because I always like to do my rise first, rise over run. We're going down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my slope, I went down 6 and over 1, 2. Now I can simplify this. I know I can divide both of these by 2. So that gives me a negative 3. 2 divided by 2 is 1. Well, 3 divided by 1 is still just 3. So my answer is just a negative 3. Right now I'm not going to really want it as a fraction because I'm going to plug it into an equation. So once I have my slope, I need to plug in my point and the slope into the equation. So we're going to start with our form that's right here, y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. This is a good review of point-slope form. And we're going to plug in our point and our slope. Now we have 2 points to pick. You get to choose which one you want. Does not matter. I'm just going to choose this point because they have positive numbers. If you want to use this one, that's totally fine too. You'll get the same answer in the end. So we have y minus y1 right here, which is 5, equal to our slope up here was negative 3. That came from there. And then in parentheses, x minus x1. x1 over here is 4. Now all we have to do is solve this equation to get it into the form y equals mx plus b. So first I have parentheses. I need to get rid of those parentheses. I'm going to distribute. So negative 3 times x is negative 3x. A negative times a negative makes a positive, and 4 times 3 is 12. So I'm going to rewrite this. I have y minus 5 equal to negative 3x plus 12. And then last we want y by itself. So we have this form, so I'm going to add 5. Only add it to the number, not to the x. Y equals negative 3x, and then 12 plus 5 more gives us 17. Now if you think about that for a second, does that make sense? Would this really begin, our y-intercept, would this begin at 17? On our y-axis, here's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, here's 10. 17 would be up here somewhere. If we were to extend this line out, yeah, that would make sense, you guys. So even though it doesn't fit on our graph, this is a correct answer. Alright, let's take a look at the next slide here. It says, same thing, find the equation of the line of best fit. So in order to use this equation, we need to first find a point and our slope. I like to start with our slope because you can usually find some points while you're at it. So, a couple things. They already plotted all of these points for you. Here's the point that they plotted. So don't even worry about plotting those points. They already did it, and they drew a line of best fit. So now we only care about this line. I don't care about these dots anymore. We need to find 2 points that are on the line. So this point is really close, but not on the line. This point is really close, but not on the line. So we need to add some points. You can add your own that are on the line. So for example, this point right here would be on the line, and maybe the origin, 0, 0. Those 2 points are on the line. So we're going to use those to write the equation of the line. I don't care about these other dots anymore. So that point there is 0, 0. And this point here, x is 3, and y is up 4. 3, 4. So first, let's find our slope. From here to here, we're rising 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 1, 2, 3. So here's our slope. Now we're going to use our point slope form to plug in our point and our slope. So that we know is our slope is going to go right there. And we get to pick which point we want to use. It doesn't matter. I like the point 0, 0 because it's easy to add 0 and multiply 0. So let's plug in what we know. We have y minus y1, which is 0, equal to 4/3, and then x minus 0 again. Now, just like we've done before, we got to solve for y. So I see parentheses, I need to distribute this. I know 4/3 times x is still 4/3 x. Anything times 0 is 0, doesn't matter if it's plus or if it's minus. We have 4/3 x plus 0. And then you guys, we are really actually done. Because if you add 0, does that do anything to our equation? No, it doesn't. We still have y equals 4/3 x plus 0. Now this one was nice. If you ever go through the origin 0, 0, I would suggest always using that point because it's easy, like I said, to add 0 and multiply 0. Let's try one more. This one might not turn out as nice, but that's okay. So again, they already plotted the points for you. We just need to worry about the line. Not the dots, the line. So first thing, we need to find our slopes. We need to pick 2 points that are on the line. Don't forget that part. So are there any on the line already? This one's really close, but not quite. This one's really close, but not quite. I'm going to maybe cross those off so I know not to use those. This one is on the line, so I would use that point, which is x is -1 and y is also -1. And then you need to pick another point. There are a couple good ones here. Maybe right there, or even down here. There's a nice one that crosses at the whole numbers there. I'm going to use the positive one up top here because I like positive numbers. So that point up here is x is 2 and y is up 1. 2, 1. So we picked our points. Now we need to find the slope. We're going to count rise over run. So I'm going to count from here to here. We're rising 1, 2, and then going over 1, 2, 3. And then we need to pick a point. Either this point -1, -1, or this point 2, 1. It does not matter which one you pick. You get to choose. I'm going to choose this point because they're both 1s. And I know 2 negatives here are going to make a positive. If you wanted to pick this one, that's fine too. So I have y minus, I'm just going to copy this equation, but plug in what I have. y1 is, here's x1 and y1, -1. So 2 negatives make a positive. My slope is 2/3. And then x minus x1, which is also a -1. Again, those 2 negatives make a positive. So draw your line down. We need to distribute like we've been doing. 2/3 and then x plus 1. 2/3 times x is still just 2/3 x. 2/3 one time is still 2/3. So you could put 2/3 in here, or if you'd like, as a decimal, 2 divided by 3, we could plug that in our calculator. It would give me about 0.6. So I have y plus 1 equal to 2/3 x plus 0.6. And now this is what's different about drawing a line of best fit or finding the equation of this line, is that it's not always going to be a nice number because we drew these lines, or we would have drawn these lines had they not done it for us. So we need y by itself, so I'm going to subtract 1. So we're left with y equals 2/3 x. We have a positive 0.6 and a -1 here. There's more negatives. 1 minus 0.6 would give us 0.4. Might be helpful if you want to write 0.4, but either way, it's the same answer. So double check. See if this makes sense. If this is in the form y equals mx plus b, do we begin at a negative 0.4? Here's our y-axis. Hey, we are between 0 and negative 1, about in the middle. A little bit less would be about 0.4. So that makes sense. All right, our last question. This one we don't even need to write an equation. We just need to plot some points and describe some things. So it says the table shows the number of girls signed up for a summer softball league each year for 5 years. So here, if you look at our softball signups table, this says years since 2000 and then number of players. So first, part A is just making a scatter plot. So in 2001, it's been how many years since 2000? Well, it's been really 1 year, so it's be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years since 2000. So in 2001, we're at about 105. So at 1, we're at 105. A little bit more than 100. At 2, we're at 113. So somewhere in the middle there. At 2003, we're at 120, almost to 125, but not quite. At 2004, we have 132, okay. More towards the middle there. And then in 2005, we had 148, so almost exactly to 150. So we did part A. Now describe the correlation. Remember, we have positive, negative, or no correlation. This one, if I were to circle our points here, they're going across from left to right. We're going up, so this would be a positive correlation. And then part C, predict the number of girls signed up for summer softball in 2006. Well, 2006 would be 6 years since 2000, right on the edge of our graph here. So we don't have any points up there. We need to maybe draw a line of best fit. And that's what we did the other day. We circled our points, and we drew a line through our circle with some above and some below. Might go through a couple. And then we followed 6 all the way to our line. In 2006, if I go over, and these were going by 25, so the top would be 175. We're somewhere in the middle here, maybe about 160 players. Maybe you think there's 165, or maybe only 155. That's okay as long as it matches your graph. So pick a number somewhere in there. You only need to list one. All right, and that was our lesson today. You do have some homework. Some of the points will be nice plotted for you already, and some of them you'll have to create your own points. So they give you the 2 equations you need right at the top. So find your slope first, then use a point and a slope to write your equation in this form and solve for y. The backside, you don't need any equations, but just drawing a line of best fit. Good luck!